Hey everyone, I'm David Berkowitz back with another edition of AI Insiders from AI Marketers Guild, a proud member of the Marketecture family. And we've got a great guest today, Greg Licciardi. Known Greg a while. He's been doing some fantastic work with the ANA. He's a professor, a longtime marketer, seller, author of the Holy Grail of Marketing. Greg, welcome. How would you introduce yourself?
Thank you so much for having me on the show today. It's such an honor. So, I've been teaching marketing and advertising now 11 years at Fordham and Seton Hall.
Wow.
And about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I started writing Holy Grail of Marketing. I also am vice president of partnerships and sponsorships at the ANA, the Association of National Advertisers, and am actively involved in the marketing community. So I have a great passion for marketing and advertising. And, over the years of learning from students on trends and what's happening and teaching marketing, I came up with this concept for my book. So I'm excited to talk about that today. It's excited to talk about marketing in general and AI and how AI has accelerated every aspect of marketing and through optimization tools and things that marketers are using today. So thank you so much, David.
Well, I appreciate you being here. I'm going to ask the most obvious question first.
Sure.
What is the Holy Grail of Marketing? I want to know. Can you tell us?
Yeah. So I'm going to be completely honest. So coming out of the pandemic, I got hooked on fast food. I got hooked on Wendy's. So I would, order Wendy's, hop on a Zoom call, go in, pick it up, or order through Grubhub. And I noticed on Fridays at 11 a.m., I started getting Wendy's ads in my social feed. And I said to myself, this is the holy grail of marketing. And so I started researching companies doing it well, not doing it well. And what holy grail of marketing is, to answer your question, is a framework. So for Wendy's, they were reaching the right person. I call it the 5 R's. They were reaching the right person. They knew I'd been in there. They were sending me coupons and messaging to entice me to go back to Wendy's. So it was the right message in the right environment in my social feeds where I was engaged. The timing was impeccable, right? Right before lunch, and the right outcome. So the right outcome was I wasn't going back. I wasn't going to McDonald's or Burger King. I was going back to Wendy's. So it's the 5 R's, the ability to reach the right person with the right message in the right environment at the right time, delivering the right outcome. And so I started researching companies doing it well and not doing it well.
Mhm.
And I realized quickly what's optimizing that framework today is AI and data and new technologies. So I came across a company called the Weather Company. At the time, they were owned by IBM. They spun off about a year ago
Mhm.
into their own entity, and they have weather.com. They're a big company, but they're a data company. And they provide weather data to brands to help them reach the right person at the right time related to weather with empathy, right?
Mhm.
So they gave me 3 case studies: Toyota, CeraVe, and e.l.f. And e.l.f. Skincare, which is the fastest growing beauty brand in the US today. It's had 4 consecutive years of 30% year over year growth. We actually had Patrick O'Keefe speak at one of our events. He's a rock star, their CMO.
Mhm.
So what e.l.f. did was they found a statistic that 80% of women base their beauty routines driven by the weather, based on the weather. And so they found the weather company. They're like, "Can you help us? This is an area that we know our consumers are looking at the weather when they decide on what makeup to use, the primer." So they did this Aqua Glow primer campaign
Mhm.
that went across all the Weather Channel's platforms. It had great results, and I share this in my book. Um, Harry's Razors was another like key case study. So I was really fortunate. My cousin's good friends with one of the early founders of Harry's.
Hmm.
So he was in London at the time. And I explained to him what the Holy Grail of Marketing, just like I just did with you, the framework. And he said, wow, that's exactly what we use. That's the optimization we use to go up and slay the dragon. Because when Harry's launched, they went up against Gillette, which is owned by Procter and Gamble, right?
Yeah.
And they had 63% market share of the razor category uh, at the time, Gillette. And so here are two guys who started Harry's, zero budget, really. And they said, you know what? We're going to go after and slay the dragon. We're going to do all kinds of smart things with our marketing to gain market share and sales. And they used their early customers as their disciples to go out and preach the good word. But what they saw was a white space in the marketplace. And that white space was very simple. It was an affordable, stylish razor that could be sent to a young dad's home.
Hmm.
Gillette wasn't doing that. No one was really doing that. And so when they delivered on that unfulfilled need, that real opportunity was crystallized for them, they used the right messaging and the timing, to the stage of a young man's life. They used the lifestyle of that dad at a breakfast table with their kids, with their razor on the table. And um, they used gamification. They used it was an iterative process. They said they had to test in real time as they were flying. They were testing new messaging consistently so that they would have zero waste of budget. They measured ROI
Hmm.
consistently on every dollar they spent.
Hmm.
And that's where the framework comes in to really assist brands large like Coca-Cola or P&G who are launching new products, or startups. The book is really resonating with startups because, think about it. If you're on a shoestring budget, every dollar you spend has to be optimized. It has to be measured. I love the quote from Wanamaker, who's the founder of advertising, they call him, or the father
Yep.
of advertising. His famous quote is, "I know half of my advertising is effective and half is wasted. The problem is I just don't know which half is effective." So today, if you're a CMO and you don't know half of your budget, whether it's working or not, you won't have a job very long, right? Everything today is about performance and measuring and tracking performance. So that's really important.
Mhm.
That's what I cover in the book.
So, so like with this Wendy's thing, like obviously there are folks like you writing and advising about this. Yeah, and look, there are enough of us out there who see what's possible. And then I go and I binge watch some series, and the entire series has like three ads that are not remotely targeted to me, that I'm seeing a frequency of about 92 for each advertiser, because every 10 minutes I'm seeing one of these three advertisers ads, right? And it's like uh and so you just see all this money being like just tossed out the window day to day. Like why aren't more advertisers and marketers tapping into just some of the what seems like fundamentals of what I feel like most of us know should work, right?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And I believe, and I've been I started at an ad agency. I worked at large media companies. And today, what's happening is automation has come in. At the A&A, we did a whole study on the programmatic space and the pitfalls and raised a lot of red flags because it's easy to execute. It's a growing budgets going to programmatic and AI. Um, and it's something where you could put money in and gain incredible amounts of impressions across multiple platforms of sites and TV and connected TV. But if you're not surgical, if you're not monitoring, and I talk about this in my AI chapter in the book, it's important that you really understand the holistic approach of marketing today. So, not just who you're reaching, but what are the environments that you're showing up in? How are you showing up? Like you just shared, David, these ads are running multiple times. They're on sites that have nothing to do with what the ad product is. There's no contextual relevance sometimes.
Mm.
All of that is important. You have it, it's truly one of those R's. If the right environment isn't there, all the investment will go out the window. You may be getting great impressions. You can go into your monthly meeting and say, we reached millions of people this month, you know, but if those impressions are on sites that are fraudulent, or they're not even, those impressions aren't even being seen by humans, but bots, um, there's, there's not going to be much positive that comes out of that investment.
Mhm.
Right. So, so there's a lot more education that we're doing at the ANA, that my book is doing, and that we're teaching to marketers to be cautious and to be really, you are the concierge of your brand, and you have to make sure that every execution shows up in environments that are conducive to your marketing message, that are reaching engaged consumers, that are driving real results. And
Mhm.
those results, yes, optimally is sales and increased sales and market share, but results are also you showing up in environments that embody your brand purpose and your message. I have a whole chapter on the importance of brand purpose and messaging. And um, that's really important today, because you could do more detrimental to your brand over the long run than good doing some of these automated campaigns where you just spray and pray, right? It's can be very detrimental. Now with AI, that ability to automate is exponential. It's
Mhm.
easier to do. You can come up with messaging. So there's positive things with AI and also things that still have to be looked at, right?
Mhm.
Um, in my AI chapter, I have Vera Sue from Microsoft. She's been at Microsoft 14 years. She's head of go-to-market AI. She's always quoted. We actually just did a webinar together for the ANA a few months ago.
Mhm.
And she's the contributor of that chapter. And what she writes is about is the importance to keep that human element intact when executing new campaigns that involved AI, and upskilling that's needed across cross-functional teams to make sure that they are well versed on AI, but they're also well versed on curating the message in a way and the outputs that's in line with your brand messaging, your brand ethos, and not just letting AI outputs go without really filtering them and making sure that they are in line with your most important messaging. So this is all very important. This is training that's needed. We're seeing the AI as the superpower, the super PAC that's on your back, to help marketers do their jobs better, to do them more efficiently. But it can also be something that could really um, be a detriment if you don't keep close to it. So that's a really important thing.
Yeah, and I mean, I, I'm wondering though, like, how much of an optimist or pessimist are you when it comes to this? Like, do you think that as AI gets further deployed, will marketing actually get better, especially if you define better by the lens and the framework that you've already uh, laid out here of reaching the right people, right message, right time, and everything? Like you get those five things in place. Like will will marketing actually improve as all of this ramps up and becomes more widespread? Or is
Okay. Yeah. No. That. I'm an optimist. I think,
Okay.
yeah, because marketing, the holy grail of marketing is personalization at scale. We're nowhere near to that yet. Can AI help with that? Yes. Does one size fit all? Never. So if AI can help customize messaging more effectively to specific consumer segments that can be more micro targeted than
Mhm.
just spraying and spraying, AI can help with that. And that's a huge, huge opportunity for brands. The ones that are able to do that sooner will gain the market share and sales and leave the rest behind.
Mhm.
Or the rest will be envious. And so, but it's going to take time for us to get to that point. It's going to take time for brands to really look at their AI models, train them, look at how the creative is to specific segments, and make sure it is watched, monitored, audited, so that it doesn't run off on its own, right? And create bad things that can happen.
Well, I
Um,
and I think there are two layers of it. One is okay, like, if you're Wendy's or you're a brand, you obviously don't want AI to go rogue. You don't want it to hallucinate. You don't
right.
want it to like violate compliance. You don't want it to create something that is like even just things that I learned working on the CPG side with some different agencies is like, well, like for instance, if you have an image of Oreos, you can't actually show more than a serving size of those Oreos in the image. That's a compliance rule that they have at their company, or at least they have when I was working on them. So you can't show a stack of 50 Oreos and someone going to eat them, right? So there's that piece of making sure AI doesn't do all the things you don't want it to do. There's also the flip side of it. It's like you could be the best driver, and if you're on a road with a lot of drunk drivers,
Right.
you might, like your life's in danger, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
And so it might be a little more dramatic than what I was intending, but it's like if everyone else is using AI in the shittiest, worst ways possible, and then like me as the consumer, I'm just going to be exposed to that, right? I'm not gonna like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to notice like, oh wow, like Wendy's gets me. It's like, how do I run like hell and turn off my TV and phone?
Yeah. Well, everything you just said is that's the climate we're in right now,
Yeah.
right? There's new things happening, new applications are coming on the scene using AI. We're seeing ads more frequently, we're seeing them in ways we've never seen them before. We're also seeing ads that are subpar. Coca-Cola, their campaign during the holidays got a lot of criticism. It was 100% used AI. It was granular. It didn't look like professionally filmed videos, you know, but we all got to be concerned. The whole industry is trying to figure this out in real time while we're
Mm,
flying because AI is out of the gates. It's just exponentially going to get more powerful and more evasive in the marketing ecosystem. And we just have to be careful, cautious, but not be afraid of it and lean into it because the more we can get involved with AI to help us give us that superpower, right? To help energize our brands, make our brands more omnipresent in ways that are more personalized, the more we're going to be successful. So it's an exciting time, but a time that everyone does need to educate themselves on what to watch out for. Like you just mentioned, David, there's a lot of bad characters out there. There's a lot of things that are happening that if you get caught in that ecosystem, your brain could certainly be damaged,
yeah.
and a lot of money can go out the window. And so the more time is spent testing and using the AI models, the LLMs, and seeing what makes them bring your brand to the forefront, and seeing how you can personalize your message to more segments quicker and more effectively, the more successful you're going to be. It's a really exciting time. I tell my students, it's like everyone's fearful of AI taking their jobs and AI, or, taking down the marketing industry. But I don't think there's ever been a better time to work in marketing. I think marketing, this is all so exciting, and to be involved in this magnificent change that's happening, and the ways that we can reach. We could be a startup and do things to go up against legacy brands with a 1/100th of a budget or 1,000th of a budget. And I don't know. I can't add any more zeros to that. But it's an exciting time. There's going to be a lot of companies coming on the site. We see a lot of direct to consumer brands on social media through influencer marketing that's happening, that are coming on the scene: shirts, watches, shoes, every makeup. And the ones that win are the ones that know the communities inside and out that they're reaching. They know how to reach them contextually well to the interests and needs in a given time with the most powerful message. And that's really who's winning today. It's really a wide open playing field.
Going to the chat here, there's a theme that seems to be emerging in the conversation, and it's actually not about the AI side at all, or the technology side. It's a lot about incentives and human behavior when it comes to companies on, whether it's media agencies or publishers. Yeah, taking easy money, prioritizing vanity metrics,
Mm.
um, uh, not prioritizing things like efficiencies, like Letitia goes and mentions here, but it just doing what's easy, because also they're not necessarily getting paid to reach the right people and actually deliver the right actions. Yeah, the media agency, that buyer might have no idea if you actually went into Wendy's or McDonald's or stayed home and made a sandwich that day, right? Um, so
Right.
it's like why not just go and like, okay, we got a great CPM on this, like our CPCs are 20% lower. Let's show that to the client, and everyone's happy, right?
It's short term. It's everyone's got their own KPIs and a lot of pressure to deliver on those KPIs, whatever they may be: impressions, click through rates, whatever it is. And but that paradigm has to shift, because the most important thing for an agency today is is the client having success from their execution and the recommendations they've made on media platforms and ad tech that they're using. And it's good to show these short-term results, but over the long run, um, there's got to be a lot more stewardship of the brand. And sometimes the brands are to blame. And I understand that. The brands don't give the agencies the ability to give that feedback or to go beyond what their scope of work is. But I
Mhm.
think that needs to change.
Are there? I want to take a moment. Are there questions that folks here want to ask, or points you want to bring up directly? Because there's some great conversation going on, and I've only scratched the surface here with some of these comments.
Sure.
Tell us about the mindset of the students right now.
Mhm.
What are they feeling? We know we read in the trades, et cetera, but curious what's going through their heads. Are they optimistic, pessimistic, neutral? Curious if you could fill us in firsthand.
Yeah, it's tough out there. It's tough to get internships. It's tough to get jobs. Uh, it's easy to find a jobs to apply to. I mean, if you go on LinkedIn, you'll find thousands of open jobs. Uh, but a lot of those jobs, um, are not responsive. They're posted, but a lot of the students don't hear back. They apply to multiple jobs. So the climate is there's some frustration. There's some fear of AI taking their jobs and taking the skills that they've developed in college. But then there's also a lot of optimism, and the students want to learn more and they want to learn how to take hold of the latest in AI and technologies to empower them. I am really impressed with the students who want to like take certificate programs beyond what they're doing in class, who are, you know, going and doing work on different models using AI in the classroom. So I encourage the students to use AI. I do not encourage plagiarism, but I do encourage them to do the research or to generate ideas and thoughtful thinking on topics. I still am old school. My exams include essays, handwritten essays, um, and they have to share their opinion, and they have to be able to demonstrate a knowledge of what they're learning in class and apply it to a current event. I call that dynamic insights. And when they put their mind to it and they do it, it's great. I can tell when a student submits something using AI. I don't need to put it through a filter. It's very apparent. Terms come up we've never discussed in class. It's like in format that is like AI generated. So I have called students out on that. And I said, look, it's well written. It's clearly clear that you used AI, which is okay. But again, I do not accept plagiarism. And if I don't see a genuine, authentic opinion in your paper, you're going to be marked down. So I'm taking a long time to answer your question, but in general, I think it's a mixed bag. There is some fear, there is some trepidation on what's happening. Things are moving so quickly. Jobs are hard to get. The lower level jobs aren't as available as they used to be. So it's a tough time.
Okay, hi. So quick question, and just because I came out of another also call with similar topics, but there's just an interesting point on, which I think has been well documented in terms of also how AI is eroding trust, both between, people, but then also we've seen, to your point about the Coca-Cola ad, but like, now also consumers like mistrusting in certain ways brands that are using AI or using it the wrong way. And so, but to your other point, like I think there's it gives a chance to a lot of smaller companies that don't have the big budget to really use it and reach consumers in the right way. So I'm curious if you found some brands or some companies that have used AI in the right way and without eroding consumer trust.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many that are using it and doing it really well. I actually just spoke at a real estate conference. And actually, David, we met at a real estate conference, I think, the Luxury Daily.
Exactly.
So these agents are really applying AI now. If you think about if you ever bought a house apartment or did a real estate transaction, used a broker, right? The brokers, it's twofold because the sellers today can find a lot of research without needing a broker, right? And do a for sale by owner now. They're becoming more common. But the brokers can use AI to really be, personalize their message to specific buyer segments. And they're using these models. They're finding potential buyers quicker. They're customizing messaging to families or empty nesters or retirees, whatever the segment is. And they're finding great success using AI in their client development success and for selling their properties. So I think that's an example. If people say like, what's the best model to use? I would try and test all of them. But I think so definitely any segment that is customer service focused. And in luxury, that's across the board. Real estate, absolutely. Financial wealth management. The ability to use AI to better understand your customers and to personalize your messaging and to give service like you've never provided before quicker is really empowering and is making the difference. It's an exciting time. It's a cautionary time. There's a lot of people worried about how to project and you know what you just shared about startups coming in and being able to break through using these new technologies. It's great. But the larger brands are being forced to be on their toes and cannot be comfortable anymore with having leading market share, because that can go away very quickly.
So what do you think are the most important things that you're teaching your students right now?
Yeah. So I actually just, so my book is now out on all platforms. It just launched last week on Audible. It's on Spotify, and it's on Kindle. And the Kindle edition, I have a bonus chapter which is titled Holy Grail of Marketing You. And that is like something that I think is really exciting, and for students to use the platform, the ability to show up in the right environments, get off Zoom if you can get an in-person meeting, the right message is your elevator pitch, the timing, there really is no, sometimes there's timing when internships with the big companies, you got to get in the running at a certain period, but networking is consistent right now, continuing to do it and really honing those skills. But with AI and technology today, what's really most exciting, again, I've said it several times, is personalization at scale. But it's important to keep that authenticity in your messaging, to be authentic, because it's so easy today using generative AI and using the different tools that are out there to come up with messaging, but sometimes it comes off and it's very apparent and it looks generic. So you really have to be your authentic self, whether you're going out to find a new job or develop your career or in your personal life, showing up in authentic ways and really having empathy, which AI doesn't always have empathy. It doesn't always have those attributes that are really important on winning consumers' attention and engagement. So I think that, I don't know if there's anything in AI that focuses on that right now, but that I think is really the winning attribute.
Are you using AI for any parts of your work right now in your various endeavors? How does AI fit in with your own world?
Oh, yeah. We just had a planning. So we're in our planning meeting, our 2027 planning meetings. So I was just doing a report and I was looking at all our competitive events. So A&I, we have 14 national industry conferences. Our largest one is coming up, just to share with you guys, not to do a pitch on the A&A, but our largest one is Masters of Marketing, which is coming up in October, we'll have about 3,000 high-level marketers there. But we look at, brand innovators, Possible, advertising, all the competitors that are out there. And I took all the competitive advertisers, I put them into an AI model to see which ones are advertising where. And I got the list, and I put it into AI. I said, alphabetize it, and then put it by category. And it did all these things for me. It was like having a personal assistant. And I had this report probably in 15 minutes. It was unbelievable. I was really like blown away. But in general, AI is good for just, anything that you write to, like, just say, how does this sound? Does this sound good? And it'll come back with ideas on, improve this or add that. I find it much better come in after you've written something, after you've kind of curated what you're going to say, to help you mold it a little better and have it sound a little more professional to the audience you're speaking to. So, if, when I was preparing for my presentation for the real estate conference, I had to let the AI model really know I am speaking to real estate agents. So make sure that this sounds conversational, that it's in line with what real estate agents know. I didn't want to sound too basic. So it really helps, again, with having messaging that's in tune to the audience that you're speaking to. It can help you really look like an expert on an area that you might be new to.
Congruent, I think, to what you say, some wisdom from Seth Godin, a video I saw recently where he talks about permission marketing, which in your case, for example, if you are going to Wendy's, you're giving Wendy's the permission to talk to you. And the other one is that you have to be extraordinary. And I'm just going to share with you one way that I'm using AI, for example, to do permission marketing. So in my case, I have a small software company, and I've just built a MCP for Claude. So for me, permission would be anyone who talks about Claude would give me a permission to talk to them. At least I can approach them. So I basically use something I learned here last week, which is the Google Radar search. So I asked Claude to go find me people on LinkedIn who are talking about Claude, look to see what they're talking about, and then tell me how I can position Curator, whether my tool is filling a gap for them.
Oh, cool.
And then go talk to them. And initially, it would be one-on-one to build a tribe, and then have them allow you to talk to them. So there are effective ways of definitely using AI, but the human element, I also believe, is key in making it work for you.
Absolutely. So, David, I know we have about 5 more minutes, and I hope that you share my information. I'd love to LinkedIn, have everyone as a LinkedIn connection. I'm on LinkedIn. If you want to learn more about my book, it's holygrailofmarketing.com. And so really excited to keep in touch with all of you and keep the dialogue going.
Are you
I'm always open to doing master classes. I do these for companies. They're interactive on the framework, and it's a lot of team building that goes with it. It's fun. So I do those as well.
so you're it's great you made some updates for the Kindle version. Are there any things you're thinking about writing next?
Well, I'm going to be updating the Holy Grail of Marketing with an updated edition in 2027. So I'm working on some new case studies, and just some more information that is more current to add into the book. That new chapter will be included in it. That's on the Kindle. And then I will be publishing Holy Grail of Marketing of You, but that will probably be for a little while.
Mm-hmm. This is great. This is, really, it's, I like how we talk about the future, but also go back to talking about the fundamentals. And fortunately, some things don't change in marketing. And so it's like, even just how you teed it up with that Wendy's example, it's like I wish more marketing was like that. I wish more of the marketing that I've been able to work on has been like that. And so when I'm asking why it doesn't happen, I've seen all the reasons, or many of them, why it doesn't happen. And so I have a lot of empathy there. But also it's like, I think so much of this community is like, how do we actually apply AI in good, ethical, helpful ways? And And so the more you can contribute to that dialogue and help us think about all that, the better. And also I got to give a little shout out to a kind of sidebar in the community, because there's some conversation as well, a kind of meta conversation about how we organize and process all this information. And so um, it, I'm working on getting buy-in. I think I already did during this call, to get like a kind of like a side site where we can experiment on some things related to AMG and use some of the tech that a lot of you are working on, and some of the stuff that Karen's working on with Curator, and that Earl's doing, and ideas that Sally has, and if there are other ideas you have for like how to bring this info to life beyond what's here, then let me know, and I'll make sure you're part of these conversations, and we'll probably just start small and scrappy and let it rip. Troy did have a quick question before we leave you, Greg. Any supplemental materials available for the audiobook?
So just go to Spotify or Audible, and it's there. The book, you can sample it, and if you have subscriptions, it'll be free. You can purchase it there, or you can buy it. It's in Barnes and Noble and many bookstores. But I'm not sure if I answered the question. Is that what he was asking? Where to find the book, or
Well, it's
just the supplemental? I just that's in the Kindle. That's the new chapter. I'm constantly doing podcasting and articles. I just contributed to a Forbes article last week. I posted on my LinkedIn feed. You'll see that once we're connected.
awesome.
But thank you. And
Yeah,
nice
thanks for
meeting
joining us,
everyone.
Greg.
It was great. Thanks for allowing me into your group today, and keep doing great things.
Well, stop by anytime, and yeah, great to see you again.